belly bands. You're in the middle. We'll take it.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, exciting. It looks so cool.
We set out for hours.
Stuff you're doing lately is awesome. Yeah, really, really good. Very fun. And I'm gonna say this on the show, but like you on commentary is great. You busting their balls is really, really impressive. Not everyone can do that, as you know. It's really, really good.
Yeah, me too. It's definitely a learning experience.
No, you're
First
great.
few times I did it.
Yeah.
Welcome to Cardiff and welcome to a very special episode of The Run-In, where the WWE is bringing the first stadium show to the UK for over 30 years. And it wouldn't be a very special episode of The Run-In without this man, Ariel Helwani. Excited?
Oh, you know it's a big event when Helwani is in town. Helwani is in town. Let's make some history, Robert.
Let's go. Particularly in this very building. Here we are, let's hear you. Yes! The Run-In with a live studio audience. Later in the show, we'll be joined by the man challenging for the WWE Universal Undisputed Championship, Drew McIntyre. But right now, we are kicking off the Run-In with something very, very special indeed. Of course, we're joined by Ariel Helwani. He's always here on the big ones. How are you, Ariel?
Hello, hello, everyone. How are you? Come on, let's hear it. Helwani in the UK for the first time in 6 years. Great to be here with all of you.
And believe it or not, I know he's tried to make it that way, but it's not all about him. We're joined by Bayley. She shocked the world coming back at SummerSlam after that long absence. So let's hear it. The returning Bayley.
Wow. That was a much louder pop. Wow. I have been humbled, Robert, for the first time.
That's a welcome.
Yes, that is a pop. I got like a church mouse farting. Sorry, yeah. Yes, at best, at best.
Yeah, Bayley, if you could just, you know, keep humbling him. If he tries to get a bit loud, that's your role. That's why you're in the middle. How are you? How's the comeback been? How is everything?
Man, it's been insane. It's been so much fun, and everything's been going so well that I'm just like, okay, it can't get any better. Is this where it stops? So, you know, tomorrow night, is that where it stops? But like, every day has just been a dream of mine, something I've been wanting to happen for years. And for me to be here and a part of this big show, once I heard about it, I'm like, I need to be on that one. I've missed so much. I've missed being around fans, missed WrestleMania. So this is like my WrestleMania this year. So I'm very excited for tomorrow night.
And speaking of being away for so long, could you tell us like how difficult the past year was for you, emotionally, mentally, to see all the big events that were happening, and you were doing such great things leading up to the injury, and then all of a sudden you're on the sidelines, nowhere to be seen. How did you deal with that?
It was, I was a little nervous because everybody came up to me and said, you know, I've been through many injuries. You're going to have a lot of downs. You're going to have some ups, but just, you know, try to focus on coming back and all this. So I was a little worried that I was going to go down a really dark hole. But luckily I didn't. You know, I kind of was just super fortunate to be around family and friends, and this being my real first serious injury, first surgery, I kind of tried to make the most of it, you know, and had the time to sit back and finally see WWE from afar and like, okay, how can I contribute to this and this and this? And I became more of a student of the game again. and which is why we have such a motive coming back, because I saw everything that was missing. I saw what we needed, and I went out and I got reinforcements, and now I feel like it's going to be better than ever. And I'm just so excited for a change.
I love it.
And I feel like these days it's very hard to keep something a secret, a genuine surprise, but you managed to pull it off. How big a relief is that when you return?
I mean, yeah, I guess it honestly was much of a surprise to me as it was to you guys. It was a very quick decision, a very quick, hey, can you be here? And it was just, the first thing I learned in wrestling when I first got signed to WWE was always have a bag ready, always have a suitcase packed, because you never know when you're going to get the call to fly out the next day, which was like, that's something I still hold true, and was something that I really needed that weekend of SummerSlam. I was like, yeah, I'm ready, let's go.
Would you rather it was a short notice thing, or would you have liked more warning? Do you think it's the best way it could have happened?
It's so funny because I'm like, I was gone a whole year, and you would think a whole year you'd be ready, like, all right, any day now, but it still didn't seem like enough time. It's like, all right, I've been trying to be ready for this whole year, and still 24 hours notice wasn't enough time. There's a lot of mental that goes behind it, but I think it was kind of good that it worked out like that. It's just like been nonstop full energy this whole time.
And I have to say, like, when we were first introduced to you, NXT days, there was the happy-go-lucky Bayley, so to speak.
Dude, I'm still happy.
You are happy.
I'm still happy to be here.
But I like the heel Bayley, and I think the fans would agree as well. The heel Bayley is so much fun, and the stuff that you're doing on commentary with McAfee and Michael Cole, and you just being a disruptor. To me,
don't give Michael Cole the attention. Don't give him any attention.
It's tremendous, and not everyone could pull that off. Are you enjoying playing the heel perhaps more so than you thought? Do you like being a heel more so than a babyface?
I'm just being myself, first of all right? Don't make me turn you into Michael Cole, okay? Just being myself. It's been nice to express myself and not have to pretend I'm this, like, happy person all the time. I mean, it's a very frustrating world out there.
Right.
And Michael Cole makes my job a lot harder than it needs to be, especially during the pandemic era when it was very quiet, trying to concentrate on my craft, and all you hear is his annoying voice.
Right.
So that just kind of built my frustrations more and more. But I have been enjoying the last few years of my career. I think I've been able to grow as a performer. I've been able to grow in front of the audience, which I think is very important. And what helped me in NXT was the audience being able to see this fangirl, this naive little girl, become a champion and overcome, then get to Raw and SmackDown, and now Grand Slam champion, just growing together has been such an honor for me to do that in front of the WWE audience. And
of course, your return, you're not alone. Io Sky and Dakota Kai by your side, and we caught up with Dakota Kai last week to see how she was feeling ahead of everything.
Bayley has been trying to we've been trying to get sort of like a group like this going for a few years now. I think the first time she mentioned something like this to me was maybe 2018. So this has been like a sort of a dream for like not only her but me, because she's awesome and I love her, and working alongside her would be amazing. So what had happened was she had messaged Hunter, like, I want to say the Thursday before SummerSlam, as a last-ditch effort to just sort of see where he sort of sat with an idea like this, like if he would take it or not. And he was just like, his first sort of response to her, like with this idea, he was like, what's Dakota doing? You know what I mean? Like, what's she up to? And she was like, oh, like, let me like see what she's doing. And the next thing I know, I get a call from him, and the rest is history.
Talk to me about what it's like being paired with Bayley and Io. What have you enjoyed the most from it? What have you learned being paired with those two?
So, with Io, she and I have a long history, not only in NXT, but before we were with the company. And she's like one of the best in the world. So being like tagging with her and being paired alongside her in this group is crazy insane. But with, and Bayley, we've known each other, before I was with the company too. So we have a long history, and she was very adamant about this group. Like, she wanted me, you know what I mean? When we first talked about it in 2018, she's like, I want to work with you. And that was quite humbling to hear. 'Cause, like, I looked up to her. She's an amazing competitor.
Dakota Kai there, Very complimentary, Bayley, and obviously well deserved. But you two have obviously had a really important role in each other's separate comebacks. Yours from injury, obviously Dakota gone from the company briefly. How did that come about?
I try to mix real life things with everything we do as much as possible, and for Dakota that was such an easy decision, wanting her to be a part of my career, whether it was tagging with her, wrestling against her, or what we're doing now. And she was such a big part. I mean, I posted a tweet when she was released just saying how much she helped me through this injury. She even texted me on WrestleMania like, hey dude, just want to see how you're feeling this weekend. I know for me, when I was out, it was the big shows were really hard to get through, and just wanted to check in on you. Like, she didn't have to do that. We hadn't talked for a few weeks, and things like that I'll always remember, and really like made me feel like I wasn't alone. Those were hard times during an injury, sitting back and having to not be a part of it. So that always meant a lot to me. But she has so much to give, and she was just getting to the peak of her career, and the fact that she was let go hurt me personally, because she's such a good friend of mine that I knew before WWE and all this, and the fact that we were just letting someone so talented go. And it was one of those times. I was getting on a flight to go home from Orlando. I was there for rehab, and I didn't want to get on my flight. I was sitting there like, I think I need to stay. I need to go to her house and check on her. But I ended up sending her a bunch of crap that she makes fun of me for. She's like, I didn't tie. All right, I'm fine. Yeah. So being able to do this with her now alongside Io is an ultimate dream come true. Like, if I was on the outside of this, I would want to be on our team, you know, or I would want to be like, let me have a match with them, because they're so talented, and I feel like I'm learning from them every day, and it's a dream come true.
What's also fun about your story and the three of you coming back when you did, I feel like when the story is told of this latest chapter in WWE history, the quote-unquote Triple H era, you guys were the first ones to come back, right? Everyone is coming back now. Karrion Kross comes back, and Johnny Gargano, but you guys were the first. Could you say, and I know you've been out for a year, but you know, you've been in the company for quite some time. It feels, from the outside looking in, like there's a palpable difference in the company. Everyone seems re-energized. It feels like there's a lot new optimism, fresh stories, longer matches, maybe a return to the old school stuff. What is the difference from someone who's in on the inside between now and maybe a few months ago?
Yeah, I think it ultimately is just giving everybody hope, you know? It's given people in NXT hope. It's given people who've been released hope and that still want to be here. And it just kind of feels like a new relationship where it's like anything's possible and everything's fresh and new. And I hadn't been in the locker room for a year, so I'm asking around like, hey, has it felt this good in the past year? Or like, is it just because I've been gone and I'm really happy to be here? But I've talked to people who've been in the company for 20 plus years, and they're like, you know what, this last month has been just life-changing. And talking to people who've been here that long, longer than me, that they feel differences, that's how you know there's real change going on. And for the fans, I'm sure it's exciting. You don't know who's going to pop up at any given time. And for us, it feels just like that too. Like Dexter coming back and Johnny coming back, we were just as surprised as the fans because we had no idea. We were watching on a monitor, and I see Gargano's. I was so confused. I was like, Gargano. What? What? It was crazy.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Can I ask a quick follow-up? If you could, and you could whisper if you want, you know, no one outside to hear, if you could bring back one person right now, who would it be?
Bring back one person?
Yeah, who would that person be? There's so many names to choose from.
Too many names. Yeah, there's
you gotta
too many
pick
names.
one.
You're such a stirrer.
I don't know. I'm gonna get.
You don't
in trouble.
know?
Yeah.
Why would you get in trouble? It's a good thing.
Because everybody
Coming
wants
back
me
home.
to pick them.
Oh,
everybody wants
so
me
you'll get in
to
trouble
pick.
from your friends,
Yes.
not the fans.
Yeah. I'm
All
not
right.
gonna pick.
Is there a name in your mind though that you just don't want to say? Is there someone that comes to mind?
Does Lita want to be a part of?
Okay, that's a
group?
good answer.
That's a good answer.
All right,
All right.
Lita, we'll go with her.
A nice diplomatic answer.
Yeah.
She's played Helwani with the straight back there. That's absolutely
such a good person.
Prime work. Well done. Let's talk about the match. Obviously, we've been walking around Cardiff, and we keep seeing on the banners. You see yourself. You see your team. Talk to me. How excited about this match tomorrow? Just to get out there and with those insanely talented women.
Yeah, I'm excited because this is the first time Io, Dakota, and I get to tag together, and that we get to really show what we are as a unit. They've done tag matches together. We've made 1 million entrances together at this point, but I think this is when we're really going to show the world what we are here to do. And I'm so excited for that. And, you know, like before I got hurt, I was supposed to have an I Quit match with Bianca Belair, and that was right when fans were coming back. And the fact that, like, coming full circle, and I had a match on Raw, like, which was my comeback match, but I really feel like this is coming full circle, and this is my comeback match. Because I finally get some revenge on Bianca, can finally put some, you know, all that anger that I had onto her, and Alexa and Asuka will just have to pay for it along the way, you know.
A good heel woman faction. We haven't had that, dare I say, ever, right? This is very unique. Has there been like a true, not one that is, you know, thrown together and then goes away in a month or so? Like, I'm hoping for you guys that you stick around for years. You could be the New Day version of what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the plan.
I
really
so.
do feel like we can go off and do our own things and win singles titles, win tag titles, win the 24/7 title, win Money in the Bank, but it's going to be because we all did it together and we all helped us get to that point.
Love it.
Amazing. Bayley, I know you're an incredibly busy woman. You've got a mad schedule over the next couple of days, but have an incredible time. And everyone, thank you to Bayley.
Thank you, guys.
It's a long
Welcome back,
applause. It's a good
Bayley.
applause.
Yeah.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
Yeah. There it is.
All right, then. Bayley, of course, isn't the only superstar busy in Wales this week. In fact, Damian Priest has been getting up to something of his own.
We gave him a warm Welsh welcome. Mind you, we had to open both patio doors to get him in the house. All yours.
To be honest, I'd never met a WWE superstar before. Didn't know what to expect. All right, then. Should I?
And if you was willing to muck in, well, he was most welcome.
Come on, lad. Those sheep won't shear themselves. Dere, gloy.
No! Hardest thing about shearing a sheep is to hold the little buggers down. You got to keep him still, right? Or there'll be a hell of a mess. Were you still when they sheared you, eh?
He worked hard on the farm, so I made him a nice, traditional Welsh treat. So, you throw men around for a living, then, do you? Do you know what? I love WWE.
What's your favorite thing about it?
The double knee face breaker. Now, you make it more currents. Yeah, that's right. Then.
Fair dues, I thought there'd be a bit of a culture clash. Marvellous. Just another 50 to go. He's a really, really nice boy once you get talking to him. Hey, it's a bit odd down the pub with his tattoos and his hair. Tell you what, he's a whiz in the brewery. We're so delighted with him. We've named one of the tanks after him.
His Welsh skates weren't the best, but he did try.
Sure, he's a bit different. But Damian learned pretty quick, mate.
All I gotta say is, if this WWE thingy doesn't work out, he has always got a job with us.
Damian Priest there, Welsh cake extraordinaire. Ariel, you tried your first Welsh cake today, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. First of all, Welsh cakes, fantastic. Well done. Well done. We had 3 different flavors. We had the traditional, the double chocolate, and the orange almond. I'd probably rank them as such. Traditional, double chocolate, orange almond. I do have a bone.
It's a popular ranking.
It is a popular ranking. I have a bone to pick with all of you that you give Bayley a bigger pop than Helwani. A little bit insulting, if I may say so, because all of you said something different back there when you saw me for the first time. So, you know, kayfabe, I guess, is real with this crowd. Nevertheless, when Drew comes, I better get a bigger pop than him, all right? Because he was and never was. Anyway, great to be here. I love it. And that Damian Priest promo is fantastic. Another great promo from BT Sport. BT Sport, #1 at covering pro wrestling. Am I right or am I right? Unbelievable. That promo for Drew, unbelievable. This man right here, Rob, Raj, Sam Stride, they all made this tremendous promo about
we get
Drew
it. We're going to keep
McIntyre.
bringing you back.
I
Don't
mean, it's
worry.
unbelievable what they're doing here. No one covers pro wrestling, WWE, UFC like BT Sport, and I'm just honored to be here.
And a huge part of it as well. Shout out Helwani.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Anyway, enough of patting ourselves on the back because we've only got an hour and I know we could do that for much longer. But Damian Priest, we saw him there shearing sheep in Welsh Cakes. You met him earlier ahead of his match, of course, against Edge and Rey Mysterio as part of Judgment Day. Thoughts on that?
First of all, love Judgment Day. As I said to Bayley, I'm a fan of old school factions, right? We need more of that. I did think that they turned on Edge a little too soon, if I'm being nitpicky. But I love what they're doing. I felt like Finn Balor was kind of floating in the air. This has given him some kind of direction. And Damian as well, and Rhea as well. Spoke to Damian about that promo. He said it's one of the most fun things he's done as a member of the WWE team. If you haven't seen it, you're one of the last people on the planet who hasn't seen it. It's a fantastic promo. Damian living with this Welsh family, it was incredible stuff. So I love that. I really feel like there is so much fun stuff right now. I mean, we could get into the IC title situation, the US, like everything feels important. Everyone has a purpose. Everyone has a proper feud right now. It's not just random stuff being thrown against the wall. I think I speak for most fans right now. This is the most fun the product has been in some time, and I'm just loving it. I can't wait to see how it unfolds tomorrow.
And that, you said you'd like the Judgment Day. How about Edge and Rey Mysterio as a team? A nice little throwback one there. And you spoke obviously to Rey Mysterio at Money in the Bank, I believe, and he still turns it on. When you see him live, there's no one like it.
He's unbelievable, and yes, for the old school fans, what was it, like around 20 or so years ago that they were a team? I love Edge, a.k.a. Adam Copeland, a.k.a. fellow Canadian. What a legend. I mean, the stuff that he did when he was heel a few months ago and now coming back and reinventing himself again with the new haircut, it just all kind of makes sense. I'm waiting to see if they do something down the line with Dominic and Rey. Are they going to turn Dominic and, you know, we maybe see Dominic versus Rey at WrestleMania? I think that would be incredible. And then, what about this scenario? Dominic versus Rey at WrestleMania, and then at the end of the match, Dominic wins. They hug it out. Rey takes off the mask, gives it to his son, and he retires. And now his son is full luchador. Did you not get chills?
Did you
not get chills right now? I should be the booker. Triple H, give me a call, baby.
He spent one afternoon with Triple H.
Give me the pen, Triple H.
Yeah, head of creative Helwani, of course, of course. Finn Balor, obviously, in that match as well. I think you met him earlier, too.
Oh, my God. Finn Balor was great today. First time that I ever spoke to him. And he actually threw out, speaking of, you know, having the pen, a great idea. I said, when is the Demon going to come back? Now that he's a heel, could the Demon even come back now that he's heel? He said his ideal scenario, number one, WrestleMania, the Demon against the Beast, Brock Lesnar. That's what he would like to see at WrestleMania in Los Angeles. But he would love the scenario where the Demon is the face and he, Finn Balor, is the heel. So he has a split personality, but unlike the Fiend Bray Wyatt, he's face as the Demon, heel as Finn Balor. What do you think of that? I love that idea.
I'm all in. Thoughts here?
Love it?
Yeah.
I thought it was
great.
They're
less keen on that one. They're less keen on that one.
Yeah, what was up? You guys didn't like that? I thought it was great. It kind of blew my mind. I thought it was really fun. Like a dual personality, but one guy's good, one guy's bad. I don't know. I love the Demon. The Demon's
It's falling on quite deaf ears in this room.
All right, sorry.
You've ruined it. You've ruined the vibes.
Sorry, Finn. I hope you're not watching.
Edge. He keeps having these huge shows. He keeps going back to SummerSlam. We saw it at WrestleMania, everything like that. This retirement tour, has it gone on as long as you thought it would, or is it going longer?
Absolutely not. I thought it was just going to be like a one-off, and then he said in Toronto last month that he'll be back next year, and maybe that will be the retirement tour. Jeez Louise, the guy, I mean, what is he, late 40s at this point? In the crowd at WrestleMania 6, back in the day with his boy Jay Rizzo, or is it Rizzo? You know, Christian. I'm trying to be cool saying their real names, and here I am failing at that. But no, it's amazing. I mean, here's a guy who had a neck injury, and we thought he was done, and then he comes back in the pandemic, and there's a part of you that's like, man, I wish, you know, he'd be wrestling in front of actual people, and now we're getting to see him perform in front of actual people. Just tremendous stuff that he's been doing, and I love this storyline. Again, I wish they would have turned on him a little later, but it's still very fun to see him with guys like that, guys like Finn, Rhea, Damian, getting the rub off someone like Edge.
All right, let's move on to the next match. Seth Rollins
versus
Matt Riddle. It's Matt Riddle now, which is very exciting.
Matt Riddle, how great is it to hear Matt, right? You guys know what I'm talking about? Real names. What a concept. Wow. Shout out to Austin Theory as well.
Art imitates life. This one is, it's so interesting when you know there's a bit of actual beef there. There's a little bit of backstory. And that promo on Monday on Raw, it's almost like a little tribute to your mate DC.
Oh, yes. How many UFC fans are here? I like it. How many of you remember that split-screen interview, John Jones and Daniel Cormier? hey, blank, are you still there? You know what I'm talking about. I mean, that was legendary, real, authentic stuff. And pro wrestling is at its best when it draws in from the real stuff. And so I love the homage. Actually, little break the fourth wall, we're going to speak to Seth later on tonight, and I can't wait to ask him if they actually took some of that from the DC Jones interaction from all those years ago. Nevertheless, it was great because, as you just said, there feels like there's some kind of tension there between them. They're going deep into the personal stuff, the family stuff. He was mad that he couldn't wrestle at SummerSlam. What the heck is going on? I don't know. But how about Seth Rollins? I mean, truly like the MVP of WWE right now. It reminds me a little bit of someone like Bret Hart or Mr. Perfect back in the day. You put him in any feud against any opponent, he delivers time after time, match after match, reinvents himself. Almost, you know what's the best example to me? Is like a Chris Jericho, right? You put Chris Jericho back in the day against anyone, and he freaking delivers. Seth freaking Rollins delivers again. That match is going to be great. And, of course, Matt Riddle, I've known him from the UFC days. What a talent.
Seth Rollins is funny because I remember reading a few weeks back about his win-loss record this year, and he seems to lose all the time, but the star never fades. He's always the highlight of the night. It says something about just how important he is to that roster, that everything about wins and losses doesn't matter with him. He's just the guy you have to be in the ring with.
Well, let me give a little cheap plug here. Next weekend on BT Sport, there's a guy named Nathan Diaz fighting against Hamza Chimaev. Give it up for Nathan Diaz. That's right. Nathan Diaz has double-digit losses, right? So he has proven in his MMA career that wins and losses don't necessarily matter. If you connect with the audience, if you have that certain je ne sais quoi, shout out to the French people, UFC Paris tomorrow on BT Sport as well. What a day it's going to be. If you have that something, that esprit de vivre, that joie de vivre, it's a very important thing, and not everyone has it. Seth has it, and that's why you see the fans don't really care if he wins or loses.
Do you think Matt Riddle's put himself in a position where he could be one of the top guys now? Because I think when you look at the titles, you look at who are the ones in the roster that can realistically hold them. We talk about the realism being important. You look at the guys that you think, right, he could actually be the face. He could be the guy that's at the top. Seth, we know he can. Roman, Drew, obviously we know they can. Brock, we know he can. How close do you think Matt Riddle is to that?
Talent-wise, I think he's there. Personality-wise, I think he's there. And what a story. I mean, I remember when he was on The Ultimate Fighter, for goodness sakes. No one saw this coming. He was mired on the undercard of UFC cards, just kind of floating around. Dana White cuts this promo on him that he's going to be a never was, that he'll never make over $100,000. And look at him now. He's an international superstar, flying first class to Cardiff to be on this big card. So, yes, the talent is there. The personality is there. Here's my big question, if I can shoot for a moment. Can they trust him? Right? You need someone at the top that they can trust. They can trust Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is going to be there time after time, event after event. He's been there for 2 years. Back in the day, The Rock was trustworthy. John Cena was trustworthy. Triple H was trustworthy. Undertaker, on and on it goes. Can they trust him to be that guy? Because as people, the haters of pro wrestling, like to say, oh, what does it mean to win the belt? Oh, it's not real. It's not this. No, the point is, it's a token of hard work, appreciation coming from the company to you to say, you are going to be the face of this company. You are going to lead the charge. You're going to do a million interviews. You're going to do all this stuff to represent us. Can he be that guy? I think the jury is still out.
But with the realism thing, he is the legit tough guy.
He can freaking beat every single person on this roster. I mean, he is legit tough. And we saw it just this week. He's still training in MMA. He posted some stuff on social media, doing some jiu-jitsu. Matt Riddle stopped fighting, legit fighting, right? MMA cage fighting, not because he wasn't good enough. It's because he fell out of love with the sport and the politics and the business of the sport, not because he's some broken down fighter. This guy can still, shoot, brother, as they say. So, yeah, I mean, that's the best part, right? You think it's real. Plus, he wrestles without shoes, for goodness sakes. I wouldn't even walk from here to there without shoes. This guy's wrestling all over the world without shoes. It's amazing.
His line, he does half of his interviews without shoes. We have to film everything from the waist up.
It's crazy. Sam Stripe was walking around the Holiday Inn yesterday without shoes. I almost threw up 3 times. That's our colleague. He's disgusting.
You mentioned Riddle being an international superstar. You yourself, this week, have embarked on a journey from New York to London, to Manchester, to the Etihad, to become the sheriff of Nottingham Forest. Then came back down to London for one of your all-time bucket list interviews. Let's have a look at a clip from that now.
Would it be fair to say that your philosophy is different in that, we're starting to see a few things that are different from, say, even a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, etc. Little things that people are picking up on, such as, giving Riddle his first name back, Austin Theory his first name back, the belts, especially like the mid-tier belts, for lack of a better word, U.S. title, IC title. Like, it just feels like almost you are paying homage to just wrestling as opposed to sports entertainment, which was a thing that, especially online, would ruffle a lot of the fans' feathers. It feels like there is a conscious effort on your part, and correct me if I'm wrong, to pay respects to those things and kind of rectify some of those things that were kind of gnawing at the fans or whomever in the business. Is that an accurate thing to say?
Yeah, it's not. There's no. I don't look at anything and go like, "Oh, I need to fix that." I need like. To me, it's just what works for me, right? And that's really where it's at. So I look at things a certain way. Like, to me, if I want to have the Intercontinental title mean something, then I need to make it mean something. I approach this, and Vince is the one that taught it to me. Put yourself in the seats. If you put yourself in the seat, you're just a fan. Just book it like a fan. You'll never go wrong. That's what I'm doing. So it's not a matter of I need to change that. I need to fix this. This is wrong. I don't like that. This was done wrong. It's not that. I just, in the moments as I'm going through this now, I think to myself, what seems right? Like you mentioned the Matt Riddle thing. Like, to me, it's just, all right, so we're going into this moment in time where this is super real. Are they going to go and hit each other in this super real manner in these promos and get into it in a different way than we've traditionally done? He's got a first name.
Right. Like,
feels like we should give him that first name. If we're going to go hyper real, we should go hyper real on it. I 100% agree with being a WWE superstar is more meaningful than being a pro wrestler. And that will rub a lot of people wrong, but anybody can be a pro wrestler. There's a guy in front of 5 people someplace right now. He's a pro wrestler. It's not a knock. It's just a different level. Anybody can play football. Who plays in the NFL? It's a different level. Anybody can wrestle. Who makes it as a WWE superstar? It's a different level.
Ariel Helwani meets Triple H. My word, all of it available, all 75 minutes of it available on the BT Sport.
Uncut,
channel.
unedited.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because we can't edit. JK, we're excellent. How was that for you? That was, you said that it was one of your bucket list ones.
Yeah.
You came out excited. He was punching the air once his interview
I was doing
finished.
push-ups afterwards, caught on camera. Before I answer that.
First time ever.
Yes, that is true. Can I just sing, and if you want to join me, please. Champions of Europe, you'll never sing that. You'll never sing that. You'll never sing that. Champions of Europe, you'll never sing that. Man City, you suck. Anyways, that was incredible. Yeah, down with Man City.
It's just 75 minutes of that, by the way. There was no wrestling chat.
Empty Hat Arena or Stadium, wherever the hell it was. Nottingham Forest, 21 signings. Unbelievable. Anyway, Triple H.
22.
Helwani was 22. You saw it.
The CEO of the club came out to give him a shirt.
It's true.
And
it's
he
on
got
Twitter.
He got excited by orange squash at BT Building.
That is true as well. Anyway, Triple H was amazing. What a vibe surrounding this guy. I had never done a one-on-one with him before. I'd always wanted to, and what a time to do it, right? He takes over as head of creative just a month ago, returns as EVP of talent relations just a month ago. His wife comes back from the shortest leave of absence of all time, like a month ago. It was incredible. And to talk about the vision, I think we all thought, all right, he's taken over, but Vince is still going to be behind the scenes. I think we all know right now, this is his baby. This is his machine. He is running it, and it's incredible to watch, to hear about his vision for the future, to hear about his vision on the product currently, about potential future returns, but then also to talk to him about his health scare. And he spoke about it to Stephen A. Smith of ESPN back in March, but he told us more about having to go back for another procedure in December and how scary it was. And I asked him straight up at one point, and I'm not trying to give it all away, please watch it, but I asked him, did you think you were going to die? And that was the toughest question for him to answer, and he started getting choked up, and I started getting choked up, because this is a father of 3, I'm a father of 3, and you could just see how scared he was. This guy is superhuman, right? He is larger than life, and to see just how close he felt to dying was very powerful stuff. So I think we all wish him the best. I think we all rooting for Triple H, and I can't say enough good things about that guy. What an absolute mensch, and I can't wait to see what he does with the company.
Yeah, his perspective was really refreshing, wasn't it? And it just, you mentioned, the vibe was so good. It just felt so positive. Everything he said, you felt like he was saying because he's so happy to be there. He was so excited about everything. I think you certainly left the room. I know the guys in the crew left the room thinking like, okay, wow, we're onto something here. Like, big things are coming.
100%. This is the kind of guy that you kind of want to root for, right? Because he was one of the boys. He knows what it takes. He's been through the ups and downs. And as I said to Bayley, and I'm sure all of you would agree, like, there is a noticeable difference in the product in a month. And you know what's fun about this particular show, and he said it to us in the interview yesterday, the show tomorrow, Clash at the Castle. This feels like his first official premium live event, right? When he took over, SummerSlam was the following week. So maybe he added a few wrinkles, i.e. Bayley, Dakota returning, but this is his first one, like, under his belt, like, that he is totally running the show. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's doing. The product feels fresh, it feels exciting, and we all love a good return, right? Karrion Kross returns, and he's right into the main event picture. Amazing. Johnny Gargano
This
returns.
is the UK, so the Karrion Kross return was less popular here, I think, wasn't it?
Why?
We're all hoping for Drew.
Oh, yeah, fine. But it's nice to see Karrion come back, right? I mean, I thought it was cool. I enjoyed it. And then Johnny Gargano returning, that's great. The one I'm really rooting for, the one I want to see so bad is old school Bray Wyatt. I want Bray Wyatt with the lantern, right? How great would that be? And I asked him about Bray, but I won't tell you what he said. You got to watch the interview.
You also went at great lengths to try and tempt The Rock.
Oh, my gosh.
Over to LA.
Oh, my gosh. This promo, let me tell you something. Triple H, Paul Levesque, he may not be wrestling anymore, but holy smokes, can he still cut a promo? It was like he was talking to Dwayne Johnson, a.k.a. The Rock. It was like he was giving him the pitch as to why he needs to come back. WrestleMania 39, Los Angeles, Hollywood, his backyard. He essentially said in short, like, look, you could do all the movies in the world, you could sell out all the theaters and have all the $1 million deals that you want, but there is nothing like performing in front of a live WWE crowd. And when he talked about the goosebumps that would just overtake his body as he's performing in front of 100,000 or so people at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, he will never experience anything like that. And he's saying it to me, and I'm like, oh my God, I want to go in the ring and perform in front of 100,000 people too. It was unbelievable. And you know what was the best part about it? I kind of feel like there's a chance. You know, I feel like based on his... Right? Didn't you get that vibe? Like, there's a chance that The Rock might actually come back.
Everything felt possible.
Yeah.
To what he said. I mean, he was giving very clever answers, to be fair.
Tremendous.
I think that might have been the plan. But every single answer, you thought, ooh, maybe.
Yes. And that's what...
Do you think you made the difference?
Listen, here's the thing. If I did make the difference, I want some credit. I'd like to be ringside for the main event, Roman Reigns versus The Rock. Maybe special guest timekeeper, like back in the day. Remember WrestleMania 1, Liberace sitting in the front row? Why can't I be sitting in the front row?
You are very much the Liberace of
yes.
2022. That's
Thank
what
you.
everyone,
I appreciate it.
We've always said it at BT.
Thank you.
Of course, you didn't get the credit for the needle mover shirt either.
I know, I didn't. Remember that a year ago? Roman Reigns drops that line. A day later, they're selling the T-shirt. Not even a tag on the Twitter or Instagram. Come on.
All right, let's get back to Clash at the Castle and Liv Morgan versus...
Oh, yes, my good friend.
Your pal, Liv. You caught up with her as well this morning, didn't you?
Yes, we spoke to Liv this morning, and I've known Shayna for quite some time, former MMA fighter, former UFC fighter as well, and I've loved what they've done with her recently because she, like Riddle, is a true badass, right? And you need to present her as a true badass. And it's a nice, you know, kind of continuation from the Ronda angle. I'm a huge fan of Ronda Rousey. I think she's tremendous at what she does. Anyway, I love what Shayna's been doing, and I really love what Liv has been doing. And I actually asked Liv recently, or actually earlier today, all the days feel like they're, I don't know, a week ago. Anyway, Liv said when I asked her about getting booed, which I thought was really interesting, she got booed. Liv Morgan, who's like the sweetest woman on the planet, the nicest lady on the planet, is getting booed by the fans, typical fans. They will you to the top, and then they break you down when you get to the top of the mountain.
That's you.
I mean, you absolute ingrates. How could you do this to sweetheart Liv Morgan? And she actually said she didn't mind it. She did say she hated the finish at SummerSlam, and I agree with her. I hated the finish, right? The finish at SummerSlam, I thought it like devalued her. Like if she's going to win, she's got to win clean, and she's better than Ronda Rousey, and she shouldn't need a kind of weird moment, confusing moment like that to get over. So I hope it's clean on Saturday, whatever may happen. And I think now with Triple H at the helm, we're going. Can I do Fantasy Booker again for you guys?
You haven't stopped.
How about this? How about this one? I gave you Dominic versus Ray at WrestleMania. I gave you The Rock versus Roman Reigns as well. How about this one? Liv Morgan as a heel dyes her hair black, turns on the fans, cuts a nasty promo saying, "You willed me to the top, and then you turned your back on me and you stabbed me in the back," against the returning the man, Becky Lynch, as a face at WrestleMania. How about that? Come on. Is that not good?
That was a good one.
Or is that not good?
There was claps and oohs for that one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Audible oohs.
Thank you.
The whole thing with Liv, though, is like the obstacles that she's overcome again and again and again. And you feel like maybe this finish could be that situation again. It's something that she's got to overcome, but will be better for it.
For sure. And like I said, there's an extension of Ronda, right? Same kind of finishers, the armbar, all that stuff. So this is good storytelling. It all makes sense. It all kind of fits. It all flows. This is what we want out of wrestling, right? We want to sit back, suspend disbelief, but we want to watch a product that makes sense. There's cohesion. There's direction. All that stuff. I could go on and on. So I've really liked this a lot, and I think that she deserves a long reign. I think she's a fresh champion. And what we want out of our champions, and we could talk about the IC title, and I think it's happening there as well. You want the champion to help make the title important. You want the title to make the champion important. I think it's been a great relationship between Liv and the SmackDown belt, right? When Ronda had the belt, I don't feel like the belt meant anything. I don't feel like the belt meant anything to her. You could see the belt means a lot to Liv Morgan, right? She's taking pictures. She's like freaking making out with it, for God's sakes, whenever she can. The belt means something, and as a viewer, I'm like, wow, that means a lot to her. She doesn't want to lose that. The next time she's defending it, I have to watch, because she'll do anything come hell or high water to retain that belt. That's what we want as fans. We want it to mean something.
A word for Shayna as well. Triple H is back, and we know that he looks after, he referred to them as his kids in NXT. She's very much one of them, Shayna Baszler. Do you think she could be in for a big run now?
I think she could. I think she's a tremendous talent. She's come a long way. She comes from the Josh Barnett catch wrestling lineage. She's unbelievable at what she does, and so I love the fact that she's getting this opportunity. It felt like she was kind of floating in the air as well, and kind of directionless, and so putting her in a big spot like this, competing for the belt, to me is tremendous stuff. So yes, listen, Liv and I were kind of best buds. I'm a little impartial on this one. I'm not being a journalist, so I hope that she retains, but I'd be very happy for Shayna Baszler as well. She has had quite the journey to get to this point, and she certainly deserves it too.
All right, you just mentioned the Intercontinental title. Of course, that's
I love it.
Defended tomorrow night. Gunther against Sheamus, which I'm going to steal one of your lines here. I feel like this could be veering into people's main event category.
That's crazy that you said that, because I said that to him earlier today. Did you hear me say that?
Didn't hear you say that.
I said it to Gunther and Ludwig. I said, this is the people's main event. Let me tell you something. First things first, he'll always be Walter to me. He'll always be Walter to me. Yeah. My son's name is Walter. In fact, I named my son after Walter the wrestler. Not true.
Tears for my son, Gunther.
Absolutely not true. Named after Walter Cronkite, the great Walter Cronkite, if you know who he is. Anyway, I love what he's been doing. And what about that scene last week? I mean, you talk about making things feel important, giving it like that old school big vibe, where back in the day, I remember when Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant met at WrestleMania 3 and they didn't touch each other, right? I remember when he ripped off the necklace and he was bleeding on his chest, and you were a kid and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait until they tangle, right? The immovable force beats the immovable object, or the irresistible force beats the immovable object. I screwed that up, but you get the point. Shout out to the great late Gorilla Monsoon. And that scene last week where you have Gunther standing there and Sheamus standing there and everyone around them is brawling, right? You remember this?
Yeah.
And they're just facing off and they won't move and they won't budge. And I was like, this is amazing. This makes me want to see them tangle. And then I can't wait for that moment where they actually grab each other. Oh, this is why we love pro wrestling. It was great. I love everything Gunther's doing. His new physique is tremendous. His clothes are tremendous. His haircut, his tan. I mean, the guy is just primo. And to make that title feel important, if I could just say one thing, I'm sorry for rambling here. Can we bring back the old title, the old IC title, right? Yes, yes. The old IC title was so great. Mr. Perfect, Macho Man, Ricky Steamboat, Bret Hart, bring back that old IC title. That title means something. This new one is all right. I just want the old title, and then I'll be a happy man.
Sheamus, of course, this is the last thing he's got to win. He's talked about it a number of times. That is the big thing that's got to win. He also mentioned in that promo the other day, he just keeps having great match after great match after great match after great match. Does he deserve to win everything, to have the lot?
He says this is the one title that has eluded him. He's a student of the game. He grew up idolizing the IC champ, the guys like Brett, the guys like Ricky Steamboat, the guys like Mr. Perfect. You know, back in the day, Rob is a very young man, so let me teach him a little thing or two about the history of pro wrestling. The best wrestler
have a schedule
on the roster was always who? The IC champ, right? The IC champ was the best wrestler on the roster, and Sheamus is a tremendous wrestler, but that title has eluded him. And he says that if he wins the IC title, he'd be the first Ultimate Grand Slam champion in WWE history. And I said, I've heard of the Grand Slam champion. I've never heard of the Ultimate Grand Slam champion. And he explained it to me. To be honest, I'm still not quite sure what the heck he was talking about. But hey, let him run with it. He deserves it. Ultimate Grand Slam sounds a hell of a lot better than Grand Slam champion, so it would be a great moment for him. But if I'm being honest, Gunther as the young champ holding that belt for a while, like he did the NXT UK belt for like 654 days, would be pretty damn cool as well.
All right then. Well, if you're going to win the Ultimate Grand Slam Championship or become the Ultimate Grand Slam champion, you're going to have to train, and there's no one better to train with for Sheamus than Adebayo Akinfenwa.
One final message on why people should be watching Clash of the Castle on BT Sport 2. Go on, give me the message. Give Gunther the message. Go on, push that. Push that. Push it. Go on, give me that. What's the final message? Shoot. There we go. This is you. No, this is you. Spot. There we go. Go on. Go on. That's you. That's you. That's you.
Because history's going to be made when I become WWE's first ever Ultimate Grand Slam champion in Cardiff, Wales. I'm going to drag him into the belly of the Red Dragon, and I'm taking that title home right across the pond to Dublin, Ireland, where there'll be an open bus celebration. Michael D. Higgins will be there to celebrate the entire bleeding country. This is just the beginning, because once I beat him and once I celebrate, I'm going to do it all over again.
Yeah. He's scared. There we go. Push that. Push that.
Let's do this. Come on, boom.
Alright, I felt that.
I'm ready.
Alright, I felt that.
I'm ready.
Right then, now it is time to introduce you to a very, very special guest indeed. He is the man who's going to be out there at the Principality Stadium in Cardiff in front of 70,000 people.
Stand up and pay respect.
Just wait, Ariel, because we have a VT first.
Oh.
You all know who he's going to be. Everyone's going to be standing up in a minute. But first, feast your eyes on this.
Oh, sorry.
The chosen one and future world champion, superstar Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, you stay there. You stay there.
There she is. You got it? Big, strong girlfriend.
Welcome to Nashville.
Engaged.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh my goodness, that looks so good. I wish I was there.
There's now only one thing left between Drew McIntyre and WWE immortality.
Caitlin, do you ever think it's gonna happen?
Never stop dreaming, Drew. Never.
Drew McIntyre is on a mission. An opportunity to face the champion. Is this where the dream all falls apart? Drew looks devastated out there. You've been working so hard for something, and it hasn't happened. You begin to wonder. Show them who you are. McIntyre, with one shot, to make his final dream a reality.
For the first time in 30 years, WWE have announced that they'll be taking a show
to the United Kingdom. Drew McIntyre is heading home.
It's the thing I've been dreaming about for years.
He's been waiting
Yeah! There he is.
Here he is. You can tell by the noise. Drew McIntyre is in the house.
Drew. He'll be the champion of Europe and the champion of the world come tomorrow night. Woo!
So, nice to be home, isn't it?
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I get back on Tuesday, and first order of business is get myself some Ribena was the first thing I think I got my hands on. I had to source out some Iron Brew. I wanted to get to a Witherspoon and hear some banter where people actually get my jokes and find my humour funny, because Americans don't find our sense of humour very funny. So it's good to get back home to the UK, and amazing to walk into Cardiff and see my stupid face everywhere. Like that mural, have you seen it? It's absolutely unbelievable, the detail. I love that Roman's face, half of it's caved in. It's almost like an omen for Saturday when my big right foot connects with his face. So it's predicting the future.
By the way, I only understood like 40% of what you just said when you said you came home, but it sounds like a wonderful time that you've had so far.
Yeah, this has taken me 15 years to speak this well. You know how hard it is for Scottish people to be understood, or people from the UK in general. We go to Spain, we go to Greece, it's just what, like stone cold. I've heard it forever. Vince made me take elocution lessons when I was 24. Scotland give me grief. Every time I'm on the social media, all I see is, why are you talking like that, mate? Why are you not talking like this anymore? That's why. Yeah. No one understands us.
I love. By the way, what about that promo? Like to see your wife. That was your actual wife in the promo.
Yeah, that was
right?
my real life wife.
Tremendous actress.
Yeah, actually, a certain somebody that's out with an injury right now. He'll be back soon enough and make another big impact. I won't say his name, but he has a tattoo that everyone likes to talk about. He sent me a message, and he was like, that's not your wife. Don't believe it. That was an actress. I was like, no, it was my real wife. She did an incredible job. BT did such an incredible job. You know, the promo packages are so outside the box. We did the one for WrestleMania a couple of years ago with Brock, and this one's a little more special because it had my family on there as well. My real life family wasn't a bunch of actors and actresses, and the wife's hiding in the back right now because she doesn't like being on camera, but she did get on the video, and she did a tremendous job. So, love you. Thanks, wife.
You've said you've seen your face all over the streets there and that mural itself. Do you feel like a weight of expectation headlining that event tomorrow night?
No. I feel very confident in my ability and Roman's ability and the build for the match and the expectations, and I know we can meet them. I'm just happy it's happening. I've been talking about this event, a UK stadium show, since I was 22. I got signed to WWE, came to America, I was in talent relations. John Laurinaitis was head at the time, and I said to him, why have we not done a show since SummerSlam 92? Oh, okay, logistics, time difference. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. And the years would pass, I would ask again, why wouldn't we do a show in the UK? It's just like the passionate fan base. Imagine so many of us in one building. It would be so loud, it would be amazing visual, it would be great for the market, great business. No, same excuses, logistics, time difference. And then we got the network. In 2018, we did a show in Australia, and I told them, wait a minute. Australia's like the biggest time difference possible. What excuses have you got for me now? We got the network, we're doing these super shows. Oh, you never know, Drew. And when I became WWE champion, if you saw my interviews, especially, sitting at home, I was on everything, and all I talked about was getting the show. And our amazing staff backstage were pushing, making things happen, working with the Welsh government, who had some big plans. It was a perfect partnership. It's happening. We're here today. It's happening tomorrow. And somehow I'm in the main event, fighting for the titles. It could be my third championship for the first time in front of fans, and I can't think of anywhere better. Than back home. I learned to wrestle in England and Portsmouth. My part-time job in secondary school and uni was wrestler. My summer holidays were wrestling. Down in England with Brian Dixon, in Wales with Orig Williams. It's come full circle for me, and if I do the big one tomorrow, it's going to be more than a special moment for me.
Wow. Incredible. I know you're a longtime fan of the business, of the sport, of the industry. Do you remember SummerSlam?
You can say wrestling now.
I know, right? You can say wrestling. Wow, it's amazing. Do you remember SummerSlam 92? The last big stadium show here in the UK 30 years ago, just a few days ago was the anniversary. You're Davey Boy Smith. You're a British Bulldog. And for all of us, he is an absolute legend, maybe the greatest of all time for now in terms of European wrestling, in terms of British wrestling. To now be in that spot, Is that kind of surreal?
It's beyond surreal. This isn't a dream come true because this wasn't something to dream about. It didn't exist. I dreamed about main event in WrestleMania and winning the title, and I did that. The idea of main event in the first UK stadium show in 30 years wasn't in my mind because we didn't have it on the regular. But SummerSlam 92, my brother and I had it in VHS. My uncle taped it for us. I was about 7 at the time. He was about 6. And I remember we watched that thing over and over. If I think really hard, I can probably remember the adverts of the time. But I saw, Roddy Piper playing the bagpipes on there. It was like fighting Santa Claus in the Tooth Fairy when I found out he wasn't Scottish. But then the British Bulldog out there with the Union Jack, a big Bret Hart fan, so I was pretty split on that. But I saw those two in particular on there, and I told myself, if they can do it, I can do it too. So it was a big inspiration to me, and I hope a lot of the younger generation will see this big show and say, wow, if Drew can do it, look, it's a champion right there of the world, then I can do it too.
Amazing.
Does this feel bigger than WrestleMania? Does this feel like bigger than a WrestleMania has ever felt because of the journey that you've had making this happen? I think everyone in here knows that this wouldn't have happened if you hadn't been campaigning for it, particularly through that title run. It was the first thing you said in the interview after the title. You said, we have to get this here. Does this feel bigger than a WrestleMania moment ever could for you now?
For me personally, yeah, it does. And, in the future, this is a blueprint. The next one, we're going to have the week-long event. We'll have the accesses, etc. But it feels like a WrestleMania. The superstars are amazed when they arrived and they're looking around the streets and seeing all the imagery. A few of them have seen the setup in the stadium and they're absolutely blown away. And for me personally, when everybody gets to witness the event itself, I've tried to explain to people, but they can't comprehend. And I try and give them a comparison. I'm like, check out a European soccer match, football, and watch the crowd, watch how mental they are, watch the chants they're doing, and just watch some of the, old Raws and SmackDowns from the UK, how passionate the fans are. And imagine 70,000 of us in the same place, aside the spectacle of it, aside the amazing setup and the principality and the low roof and the physicality in the ring. Just watch the crowd. It'll be like ECW One Night Stand, except the Hammerstein's bloody tiny. This is huge, and people are going to remember it not just for what happened on the show, but what the crowd were up to during it. We're singing songs like perhaps Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns is terrified, and na 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 na. Hey Drew, not to encourage you, but those are a few of my favourites from the past.
All right, we'll sing some of them when we're off air later. I think we'll test them out, shall we? Obviously, you've got your enormous match. You'll talk about that at length in every interview you do for the next rest of your life, probably. Sheamus, I know sometimes you're beating each other up quite severely, but you must be
quite severely.
Quite severely.
I've not had worse bar fights and pub fights than we do. The things we do to each other in the ring. The only thing that surpassed what Sheamus and I do to each other in the ring was what the Usos did to me with the chairs last week. I've never been beaten like that in my entire life.
How is your back, by the way?
Awful.
Okay. I was worried about the flight over here with that back. I mean, that must have been very uncomfortable.
It was incredibly uncomfortable. Luckily, we have a SmackDown tonight, and perhaps I will take, not my private jet, Roman's private jet, fly over to America so we can do that SmackDown live.
Oh, wow.
And maybe I'll figure out a way to take care of that bloodline, because one-on-one, I've got Roman's number.
All right.
But to see Sheamus have that, opportunity tomorrow night, you know that that's the one he's been after for years now, that IC title. How proud are you how proud are you going to be if he's not beating you up? That is, are you going to be to see him out there having another amazing match tomorrow night?
Yeah, he's worked hard for this, has dreamt about it, has talked about it. He's won everything there is to win in WWE, and the IC title is the one he wants. And I was getting concerned for him because he's about 63 years old now, and it's the only reason he's still going, so he can get the IC title. So I'm glad the match is happening. It's against Gunther, what's he called now?
Yeah.
Gunther. And he's in the shape of his life. He's an incredible athlete. He's so hard hitting. Like, Sheamus isn't going to let up on anybody, but Gunther can bring it back, and it's a match I'm looking forward to watching myself. And it's interesting, the journey now Sheamus have been on. Obviously, we're friends before we get signed together. But the big thing is, the night I won the Intercontinental title in 2009, he won the world title. And then fast forward to 2022, things have kind of switched. Now I'm the one chasing the heavyweight titles, and he's fighting for the Intercontinental title. So our journey has been very interesting throughout these years.
Now, a lot of people, by the way, Rob, have asked me all week, who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is going to win? And I'm always picking you. And yes, I say that. And by the way, I'm going to have more to say on that in a moment. However, I must admit, yesterday at around this time, first time gave me pause. I was a little worried for you, and I started to rethink. Do you know why? I'm on the internet, I'm scrolling through Twitter, and I see a video pop up of that big Baszler Tyson Fury saying he's going to be in attendance. And now I'm worried, given your history.
Battle at the castle.
Yeah. Like, how many lines did he have to say? I mean, battle at the castle. I think he messed up something else, but at least he's going to be there.
Yeah, at least he's going to be there. I mean, a couple blows to the head will do that to you. Here's the thing. Now I'm worried because I remember when you guys were going back and forth, I'm worried he's going to try to mess with you.
Right. Tyson and I have been going back and forth a few years now, and I remember initially it started with his playful banter, and he's an entertainer, he's good with his mouth, but he did, in my mind, what he thought was his version of a pro wrestling promo. And I was like, I'm going to have to hit him where it hurts just so he gets into this. So I took a stiff blow back to him, and I know a couple of people that are friends with him, so I knew where to hit. And then I saw the intensity, then he started getting real with it, and then it was a really fun back and forth, and I got to the point where I was like, I wonder if he's actually upset with me.
Yeah.
I don't care. I want to make something happen. That'd be good for business because I need him to feel it. I need him to be in the moment. And I was doing a show in the Thunderdome. I was champion. And I went out for my entrance. I just spotted him in the crowd. There was no crowd. I mean, he was by himself under the hard cam with his family. And I went, there's Tyson right there. He didn't even find me before the match. I'll see him after the match. Got back. Where's Fury? He's left already. I think Fury's scared of Drew McIntyre. He's literally ducking me now. So he's showing up at the show tomorrow. All I have to say is I've not jumped into his boxing matches with a chair and tried to beat him up. So stay out of my match. Wait till it's over. Wait till I raise those titles. Have the biggest explosion of noise in the history of planet Earth. Have that moment and then step in the ring if you want, and then I'll get you in your back and you'll be like a turtle. As long as you can't throw those punches, you're done for.
Didn't he once go to Edinburgh to try and find you?
Yeah, and he knew fine well I'm working in America. So it's blows to the head.
Drew, tomorrow night, what can people expect from this match? The hype has been huge, and it's built and it's built and it's built. And I think everyone's seen you waiting for this opportunity, and everyone knows you are always going to get an opportunity at this Roman Reigns title shot. Tomorrow night, what can people expect?
You can expect a show you're not going to forget overall. This match, the atmosphere, I can't even imagine. It's going to be electric, and I'm under no illusions that Roman's very, very popular. It's interesting. He was a good guy and got booed for 10 years. But then he turned bad and gets cheered. But now he's been the real version of himself, and he's been doing some incredible work. You know, I've been working hard, showing people the real me. The sword got a bit much face time, to be honest, over the past year or so. But thankfully, the man has came in front of the sword the past month or so. We've reestablished the McIntyre as the momentum's been building. It's in the UK, not some made-up fictional island of relevancy. It's on my actual island. And Roman's so good in the ring. The story's so good. The momentum's so good. We're not going to have to touch. The people are going to be there, but we're such perfectionists, you know, masters of our crafts, and look at everything down to the fine detail. We're going to make sure the match delivers, and in the end, to steal one from old buddy Wade Barrett, who I like to rip on as well, the winds of change are blowing through WWE right now, and it all starts at the top and rolls downhill. What's the company going to look like going forward into the future at the top level? Roman's taking a step back. He's not going to be there all the time. If he's got the titles, doesn't have the titles, he's still a huge star. I believe the title should be represented on every show. I believe they should be on the appearances. I believe they should be here right now if I'm the champion. And they're not being represented that we should be right now. And to be honest, they should be defended every 30 days. Jack Tunney's rolling over in his grave. They're not defended every 30 days. So I'm going to fix that. And the real change starts at the top with Drew McIntyre, undisputed champion.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And if I may, Drew, do we have to wrap up with Drew in a moment here? Because I'd like to say something to Drew. The first time I ever spoke to Drew, can I stand up? Is that okay?
You stand up.
Thank you. The first time I met Drew McIntyre was via Zoom at the very beginning of the pandemic. You remember this? It was the day after WrestleMania, April of 2020. This man was robbed of his moment. He had to win the belt against the great Brock Lesnar in front of no one. That should have been in front of 75,000 people in Tampa, and you were robbed. And that was the culmination of an unbelievable story and an unbelievable main event that should have been one of the great WrestleMania moments of all time. This man watched that moment in his living room. Tape delay WrestleMania, never before, and praise to the God above, never again. We never want that again. He was robbed of that moment. 2 years later, he is getting to right that wrong in front of his people. And you just mentioned ECW One Night Stand. I'll never forget that banner. That banner at the Hammerstein Ballroom in the heart of New York City. What was it that it said? If Cena wins, we riot. Well, if God is my witness, if this man doesn't win tomorrow, we freaking riot. Because he deserves that moment. He deserves to have his moment back from April 2020. He deserves to be the undisputed champion of World Wrestling Entertainment. My man, Drew McIntyre.
Well, unreal.
Thank you. Those words mean a lot to me. And I'm actually worried now because Americans say if Cena wins, we riot. We're from the UK. If Roman wins, there's going to be a legit riot.
Well, I think on that note, it's time to wrap up the show. Thanks as always go to Ariel Helwani. And a massive thank you and good luck to the man, Drew McIntyre. He'll be there. 70,000 people clash at the castle in the main event against Roman Reigns. And as you can tell, this is just a room full of 100-odd people. Imagine what it's going to sound like tomorrow night. You, of course, can watch that on BT Sport 2 at 6 p.m. And the only thing that's left is for everyone here and everyone in that stadium to show the world how loud a UK crowd can be. Enjoy it.